everybody, welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2015 thriller Solace, a film that is directed by Afonso Payart and it stars Anthony Hopkins, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, Abby Cornish and Colin Farrell. Now this film focuses on a serial killer who is being pursued by Jeffrey Dean Morgan's character and Abby Cornish's character, who both work for the FBI. They are basically getting nowhere with this serial killer. He's leaving no clues. So Jeffrey Dean Morgan's character, Joe Merriweather, who's a bit of a veteran, brings on board his old friend Anthony Hopkins, who is a gifted psychic. His partner Abby Cornish doesn't believe in this sort of thing, so she's completely against it, but he has helped the FBI in the past. So they bring him on board in order to try and help track down this serial killer, but what they don't realise is that the serial killer they are tracking down may well have similar gifts, psychic gifts, as Anthony Hopkins, that is keeping him one step ahead of the law. Right, so that's the basic premise of the film. What are my thoughts on this film Solace? Well, this is a film that I have recently picked up, and the reason why I picked this up is, well, essentially this film I've not even heard of. I don't even remember it being released in the cinemas. It's not that old either. That 2015 film, it completely went under my radar, this one. And the reason why I was interested in picking this up is I was researching a couple of weeks ago, I stumbled across like a video on YouTube that was talking about the film Seven, and it mentioned that this film Solace was supposed to be the big budget sequel to the film Seven, and they were going to call it Eight. Morgan Freeman's character was going to be the Anthony Hopkins character, who had now developed psychic powers. I mean, it sounds terrible, and I can understand why David Fincher and the rest of it and everybody else kind of said, not interested, we're not doing that. So this film started off as it was going to be the sequel to Seven, and then they turned it into a standalone film. So that really interested me. And after researching and looking at a few reviews, it actually wasn't hated or terribly received or anything like that. It just kind of flew under the radar. And I have to say, after watching it, I think this film was actually quite decent and certainly entertaining, with some fun performances, a good idea that is obviously completely unbelievable, but they play about with it and make a fairly entertaining film here, and it certainly works far better than if they would have made a sequel to Seven. I think that Anthony Hopkins, generally speaking, I think he's incapable of giving a bad performance, and he carries this film particularly well. He's got this real dignity about him, and just this real presence on screen about this tortured character who lost his daughter several years previously to leukemia. And has got this curse, really, where he can see people's past and their futures and all this kind of stuff. So he's really good in the film, Anthony Hopkins, and yeah, he's very watchable. Same with Jeffrey Dean Morgan. I've never seen anything with him in where he hasn't been watchable and reliable, and is the same here. I mean, you could argue that he has played characters similar to this whenever he's played someone in the law or law enforcement, and I've seen a number of films where he's played like figures of authority. He kind of replays that character over and over again, but he does fine in this film as this link between Anthony Hopkins and the FBI. Abby Cornish, on the other hand, I feel was pretty poorly miscast in this film. I think her performance was very monotone and robotic, and I just didn't feel any emotion really from her at all. And there were some pretty dramatic scenes that this film demanded from her and others, and I just felt like she was just not on it. And to be fair, I don't, it's not like I dislike her as an actress. I don't really know an awful lot about Abby Cornish. I've not seen a mountain of her films, but I just felt like she wasn't suited for this part. And it's not a spoiler because he's on the cover. Colin Farrell plays the killer in this. Now, they probably missed a bit of a trick here, because they could have done what they did with Seven and left the killer completely, secret almost, which they kind of try and do, because in the film Colin Farrell doesn't appear until at least an hour into the film, I would suggest. But you do see him in like psychic flashes that Anthony Hopkins has. It flashes his face now and again. So I think they probably missed a little bit of a trick there by, ruining that. So I don't feel as though it's any kind of spoiler to say it. Well, it isn't. He's on the cover, for goodness sake. And I think he's fine in this film as well. He plays this role of this serial killer who is killing people. And I'm not going to explain why he's choosing his victims, but it's quite a unique idea and a unique twist on a serial killer, and it does make you question if what he's doing is as bad as some people may assume. With a serial killer killing people, his reasonings behind it are interesting, even though there are definitely flaws to it, and his connection to Anthony Hopkins is very, very interesting as well. Some good little action pieces in it, some good tense moments in it, and ultimately quite a watchable film, I would say. Yes, it's flawed. There are plot holes here, there and everywhere, but if you want to watch a good, entertaining thriller, with a serial killer premise, you could do certainly far worse than this one. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. It was quite a pleasant surprise, and I'm certainly glad I picked it up and watched it. So that is my review for Solace. I hope you liked it. I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for watching, and of course I will be back with more reviews on Screen Stars very, very soon.